Well, hello, and welcome to the Hypno Fairy Godmother Show. As a matter of fact, welcome to the first Hypno Fairy Godmother Show of the year. I am so glad that you found me today. I am Shirley, clinical hypnotherapist with a private practice here in Southern California, advocate and mental health first responder here at Whispering Zen Hypnotherapy. Thank you so much for finding my show today. I'm so glad that where you can come as you are and leave a little closer to who you really want to be. So if you've ever felt that you more freely want to enjoy a new habit, healthy, I hope, or just get back to feeling a little closer to you, then we need to talk. Because although I specialize in working with the LGBTQIA community, I welcome and I work with everybody. So if you need help, I am here for you. Just check in with whisperingsinhypnotherapy.com and I can always make an appointment or a consultation and we can see how this works out. So thank you. I'm not sure where you're checking in from because I'm all over Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Lots of thanks for wherever you're meeting me today. So let's get this show going the way that we always do. And you know I love to start it this way, so that's why we're going to. First thing I want you to do is take a wonderful, nice, deep cleansing breath. Hold it. And exhale with a smile. Yes, that is the way to start everything. It's just deep breaths, exhaling with a smile. So for the next part, I got this from a friend of mine named Roger who lets me use this and I love it. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to wiggle our toes. Yes, I said it. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your toes. Inside your shoes, outside your shoes. I don't care. It's a little chilly today, so I'm actually inside my socks, but wiggling my toes just the same. Next thing I want you to do is wiggle your butt. Yes, I said it. Wiggle your butt. Squeeze in those cheeks. Come on, you can do this. Come on, wiggle your buns, because you can't wiggle your buns without smiling. I can't tell you to wiggle your butt and squeeze in those cheeks without smiling. So that's what we're going to do. And the last part of this that we're going to do is we're going to take one more of those great, nice, deep breaths from your core. And this time as you exhale, I want you to say a wonderful affirmation. Something like, I got this, which is what I tend to use quite a lot. Or, it's going to be okay. We can make it through the day. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it through the day. Every single day, one at a time. You know, sometimes we're trying to make it through the week. Sometimes we have larger aspirations, making it through the month. Right now, let's just try to make it through the next hour. I think that's a great way to start, because today we're going to be talking about goals. And I think if we could just start with that, that works out great. Next thing that we want to do, since you're in that nice safe place and you're not driving and you're not working on a big project, because when I tell you these things, they really do mean something. Don't want anybody closing their eyes when they take a deep breath and swerving off the road or not paying attention to a big project that they're supposed to be working on, dealing with a client, listening in a staff meeting. We don't want to do these things. You can always listen to the show again later. Although I love having you live with me right now. So, you know, if you got that extra time, kind of move your legs around, kind of roll your shoulders, roll that mid. Come on, feel it, roll it. Good. Your neck. Oh, yeah. And just this short amount of time, you have actually loosened up everything from your toes to your nose and above and everything else. And that's what we are all about. That's right. That's what we are all about. So for today, I kind of want to thank AndyShirley.com, who is excited to announce that they have their newest Hubble Bubble Tiny Toes books, both What's a Chakra and Hubble Bubble Zodiac for Kids, available on AndyShirley.com. You can order them. They're great. They're part coloring book. They're part knowledge. Adults seem to like them as much as kids do. And if you'd like to become a sponsor, help us out here on the show, you know, you can always just contact me, like always, on whisperingsinhypnotherapy.com or become a Patreon member. I love my Patreon members. And just go to Hypno Fairy Godmother Radio. Easy as that. So Now that we've got all that taken care of and you're nice and you've breathed, you got that going, you've moved a little bit around. As a hypnotherapist, which is what I am, um, I get asked a lot about mental health and ways to maintain it. And I kind of wanted to do something for the beginning of the year to talk about, mental health inspirations and ways to help yourself out, and how you should take every opportunity to smile or to reconsider things or think about things. Because whether you're dealing with physical health, mental health, which is what I specialize in, whether you're just dealing with having a bad day, you know what? You're not that. You are not a diagnosis. You are a person, and you are a very important person. So that's what we want to concentrate. And today, as always, we're covering a slightly different area of Weeble Kung Fu. And if you don't know what Weeble Kung Fu is, that's a way of becoming a better person than you were when you left here and being closer to that person that you wanted to have growing up, or just becoming more an authentic you. If you don't know what Weebles are this toy from the 70s, 60s, 70s, and they're about 2 inches tall, 2.5. They got a rounded bottom, they wobble, but they never fall. So even if you're having a bad day, even if you're just having a little bad day, it's okay. We all kind of weave and bob just a little bit, but we always end up upright, and that's the whole idea. So like I said, when I tell you to be in a safe place, I really mean that. Because, you can listen, while you're doing whatever. But I don't want anybody to get in trouble. I don't want anybody, sometimes when I'm talking, people have this tendency to close their eyes and hear what I'm saying. But know that the show is always replayed on Facebook and on YouTube, so I'm always there for you. You may decide to close your eyes. If you do, great. Don't take a nap on me, though. But, what I heard, and I wanted to kind of start out because this is the new year, that I read this last week to you, and I wanted to really kind of bring this to home, is that this year, today's kind of about resolutions or non-resolutions. And instead of making a resolution, a New Year's resolution, because everybody seems to think that they need to do that, and you're probably not going to follow it anyway. I hate to break that to you. But instead, why not give one of your excuses? So this is kind of the opposite. Use one of your excuses and give it a funeral. It's this awesome concept that I read about. And if funerals are supposed to be a celebration of life, then why not use this as a celebration of going on to your next chapter? Think about that. What a great idea. Celebrate that you used to live with certain excuses in your life. I would have, but I didn't. I could have, but I didn't. Anything after the word but, you know how that works. So celebrate that you used to live with certain excuses, but those days are gone. They're done. I challenge you to give up one excuse that you've been using. And you could have used it this morning. You could have used it last year. You could have been using it for most of your life. But let it go. Give it a bon voyage, and it is out of there. Because if you think about it, we're almost 2 years into this pandemic. Why would you want to put more pressure on yourself? Haven't you been through enough stress? I think we all have. I know I have. And if you want to make changes, definitely do that. But make sure that the changes are something that you're able to do and that you really feel confident to do. Don't do anything big or add more stress onto your life. We don't want to add any more, but just small changes in our lives can be great. I talk about making small changes every week. The little things that we can do, the wonderful little things that we can do. From an older article that I was reading on this morning, it said that statistically, 77% of people don't make it through their New Year's resolution. And 35% don't even make it through January. So by not making a big deal about a New Year's resolution in the first place, you are saving yourself from the guilt and the shame of being part of a statistic. Because trust me, none of us want to be a statistic. Not a dang one. And if you think about it, January 1st is totally irrelevant. The date, completely irrelevant. Do you think the universe knows it is January 1st? Nope. Do you think the sun checks its planner when it's starting to come up and go, oh, good, January 1st, we can do this? You know, it's like, the whole date pretty much means nothing. So pick another one. Which leads me to my next point. That why January? January is the month that most of us love to go into glorious hibernation, where we love to snuggle and drink warm beverages, and it's not even close to an ideal time to decide to make major life changes. You know, how about making a spring resolution instead? They make more sense. You know, this is especially true if you've decided that you want to lose some weight, which is usually the number one resolution that people make. You know, get your jog on in the spring. It's icy out there. It's snowy out there for some people. Do you really, really think that now is a good time to decide to get your jog on? I don't think so. Or you join a gym and you walk in and every machine is taken. Well, first of all, that's because they all had the same idea you did. But it's discouraging. If you wait until spring, which, like I said, means way more sense, then the people that aren't committed will have already dropped. And if you decide that you want to do the gym thing, you got a better chance of actually finding a machine that you want to work on. Or, you know, in the spring, no snow, no ice. You got some leaves to deal with, but hey, that's easy. So think of it that way. You know, don't make a winter resolution on a day that's arbitrary. Instead, think of something more realistic. And the sheer quantity of resolutions that people make are crazy. You know, if you had a to-do list on a regular day, any day, that had 15 items on it, you would stress yourself out completely. So why make a list of 15 huge life changes and try to do them all at once? Still with me? Yeah. So it makes no sense. People rarely just make one resolution anyway. But if you did just make one, you'd probably have a better shot at it. So if you do feel committed to doing that New Year's resolution, don't list 15 things that you automatically think that you want to make a change about, need to make a change about. Don't. Pick one thing and make it realistic. You know, chances are most people that make New Year's resolutions make wildly unrealistic changes. I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. I'm going to remodel this. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to change this. And they're always so huge. And nobody really gets to those because what they do is they have the huge resolution. But you have to break things down. We've been talking about taking and breaking down your aha moments, breaking down your other moments, breaking down, you know, pick your one or two favorite things that you've decided that this is the year. This is the year, no matter what. This is the year. So break it down into like, okay, so this week I'm gonna do this and this. That was 2 things for the week. Not 15 things for the day. No. Just keep breaking it down. And if you find that breaking it down is still a little too hard, break that down a little bit more. You know, the first thing I had to do was add more water. Great. That's a perfect thing to add. But I couldn't add a gallon at a day and a gallon at a time. You start out slow and you work your way down. So chances are, if you're making this New Year's resolution, make it small and measurable. And most of all, make it achievable. You know, make it a SMART goal. Make it an achievable little thing. Don't go all huge, because then you'll be disappointed and then you don't want to do it and then you've given up. And then what are you at? Yes, you're back to being a statistic. And like I said, none of us want to be a statistic. When the time is right in your life, you'll do it. When you see the big sign and you find the willpower, you'll make the changes that you want to make, whether they're big changes or little changes. I want to get up every morning and make sure that I have picked up all the dirty clothes off the floor. Okay, that's a doable thing. I want to make sure that every 3rd day I do this. Okay, now you're not overloading yourself with things. You're thinking of things that are more positive. You're thinking of things that are more goal-oriented instead of just making this gigantic resolution that, like I said, probably won't work. I quit doing resolutions a long time ago. This year, I actually did have a funeral for one of my excuses. I will never be using that excuse again. No, I'm not going to tell you what it was, because whether it's a resolution or an excuse, it's yours. It's yours. You don't need to get anybody's approval on anything that you decide to do. You don't. It's not up to anybody else what changes that you've decided to make. Whether they're little tiny changes, just, I'm going to get up by 9 and I'm going to take a walk around the block. Or, I'm going to get up by 9 and I'm going to walk around my house 6 times. Sounds pretty doable. I have to be at work by 7, so I'm going to get up 10 minutes earlier so that I can walk around my house 6 times. I mean, it's all arbitrary and it's all up to you, and you don't have to go into work or call your friends or post it anywhere that this morning I decided that I'm making this huge change. Because what happens when you quit telling people every day that you did that? You're going to get those people in your life, and we all have those people in our lives that love to say, told you so, told you you weren't going to make it, told you weren't going to do it. Well, nobody needs that. Nobody needs that in their lives at all. I'm serious. Nobody needs that. So what we do is we just keep those little things to ourselves. You know, every little change I make, I don't announce to everybody. Every little goal that I have, don't announce it to everybody, because it's not up to everybody for their approval. The whole idea is that you're doing this for you, the little changes that you're making, the excuses that you're no longer working at, the little goals that you're making for yourself, you know, the little aha moments that you're pointing out. When you're writing these things down in your little notebook, you know, if you got a little notebook or a new little pen or whatever for the holidays and you're writing stuff down, you know what? It's not for anybody's business but your own. I never said it was homework. Homework is horrible. All of us remember homework. Some of us are still doing homework. Some of us are teaching. Some of us are learning new but this isn't homework. These are little skills that are for you. Little things that are just for you. So like I said, you'll know when the time is right for you to make a change. And now may not be that time. You know, we have things going around in our outside in the air. Some of us are starting new jobs. Some of us are ending new jobs or ending old jobs. Sorry. You don't want to end a new job, I guess. But think of the more productive things that you can do or even adjust. Don't think of it as a big production. Today, I've made the resolution that I'm going to do fill in the blank. No, think of it as maybe you're making a slight adjustment. Normally you get up at this time. Now you're going to get done at this time. You know, just these little tiny changes that you can make are amazing because all of this is about taking time in your day to nourish your soul. You know, I always talk about nourishing your soul, taking the time to be with yourself in a more meaningful way. Maybe your New Year's resolution isn't to end something, but to begin something. Something that you've been wanting to do. You know, have you wanted to start to draw? Have you wanted to start to write a book? Have you been wanting to start a new craft? A new anything? You know, a lot of times we think of resolutions and it's about ending. Everything has an ending. No, sometimes you have to think of these little adjustments as something that you're adding to yourself. Something that you're doing to make your life better. You know, taking those 5 minutes. I always tell people, if you don't have 5 minutes for yourself every single day, no matter how cram-packed your schedule is, if you don't have 5 or 10 minutes for yourself every day, you need at least an hour. I know. And you're like, if I don't have 5 minutes, how am I going to come up with an hour? You need to make time for you. The whole object of Weeble Kung Fu, the whole object of becoming that person that you wish you would have had growing up, becoming that more authentic you. The whole object of that is to grow and to add and to make little tweaks and adjustments. Been working on a project for quite a while, for about a few months now. And every day, make a little tweak here and a little tweak there. You know, I had started last year actually, writing a book on how to conquer and how to do Weeble Kung Fu. What does that mean? How does that there to help you? And sometimes I get a lot farther than I get, but I haven't given up on it. Sometimes I read over what I wrote and I go, oh yeah, no, we got to take that out, you know? And then I have to bring it back to me. Bring it back to nourishing my soul. Who am I doing this for? Am I doing it for you guys out there? Kinda. But most of all, I'm writing this down and I'm doing this for me. Because no matter what you do, you have to make sure that you're doing it for you. You're the most important person in your household. And you may be the only one in your household, but you may live in a group situation or a multiple generational situation. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're doing all of this and you're making yourself better. And you're seeing where you're going to end up. You know, it's like they say on an airplane, if the air comes down, put the air on you first and then help somebody else, because you can't help somebody else if you're not getting to be the person that you want to be, becoming more authentic. Throw in some conscious meditation. I love that. Throw in some mindfulness, because your meditation is part of mindfulness. We all know that, or I hope we all know that by now. And you're like, okay, but my house is crazy. How do I find 5 minutes for myself? I have actually done appointments with people where they're sitting in their car outside of their own house. They didn't even drive to a park, which I've had people do that in a park. I've had people go to the ocean. I've had wherever. That's the one wonderful thing about working online, is that it doesn't really matter where you're at. We can always connect. But I've had people actually just drive out to or go out and sit in their car so that they have 5 or 10 minutes. Because I used to joke and tell people that, they could always just go sit in the bathroom for 5 or 10 minutes by themselves. But I know that if you have a house with kids or pets or whatever, you don't even get to be in the bathroom by yourself. So, sometimes you just have to go and sit in your car by yourself with nothing on. Like quiet time, unplug. Sometimes we're so wrapped up in everything that we forget that it's okay to unplug. It's okay to not be connected to the world. The other day, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I hadn't been sleeping too well. And I forgot to take my phone off of Do Not Disturb. And it took me about 5 hours running around before I realized that things were really quiet and almost eerie. And I checked my phone and I noticed it's still on Do Not Disturb. And I thought, that was kind of fun. It's not that messages weren't coming in. It's just I didn't make those messages my top priority. I was actually making me my top priority. So Do Not Disturb sometimes is, the most wonderful accident that can happen. If you work in an office and you get breaks, which we're all supposed to get breaks, go and just get away. Don't go to a break room. Break rooms are never quiet, and you never get to spend time just with yourself. Get out of the whole building. Get out of the office, get out of the building, get out of the store, get out of wherever it's at, and go take a walk and just be with you. And I know that if you're in kind of a noisy place, sometimes putting on headphones helps. But if you do that, make sure that it's like music that you love to listen to. And it doesn't matter what the genre is. You could be listening to everything from soft, calming, ambient music to rocking out, headbanging grunge. I don't care. But make it something so that time is your time. That time is your time. That nobody's going to ask you a question. Nobody's going to expect you to have the answer. Nobody's going to have untold expectations on you, because that's your time. Sometimes my house gets a little crazy and my time is in the shower. At least with the door shut and the water on, I can't hear anybody. I can't hear the TV. I can't hear the radio. I can't hear the people. I can't hear the animals. I can't hear anything except water. And, you just let it run over and just feel that bliss for just a little bit longer, And if you need to get out and you're one of those people, I need people in my life, and you can be cautious about it, because nobody wants nothing this time of year. Doesn't matter what it is. People these days, we don't even want to get a cold. Nothing. So if you can go out, go out, you know, and if you're still looking for little things to do this time of year, instead of making a resolution, try or you can make this your resolution, to be honest with you, little acts, random acts of kindness, little random acts of kindness to support anybody. It can be healthcare workers, it can be first responders, it can be a neighbor. Let's say you haven't heard from a neighbor in a while and you're starting to get a little worried. Well, go knock on the door, send them a message. You know, if you have a friend that lives in a faraway state or even just a town not close to you that you haven't heard in a while, just picking up the phone, or even something as innocuous as a text. Hey, how you doing? Was thinking about you. People like to know that other people are thinking about them. Kind of gives them that wonderful sense of being, which is what we all need. You know, if you want to do something grand, you can do something grand and over the top. And it's going to make them feel better. It's going to make you feel better. That's perfect. But sometimes, you know, maybe you're not feeling so hot, or you're not really ready to go out into the big wide world yet. You're just ready to do little things. That's fine. You know, that's fine. Check up on people, see how they're doing. You know, the one thing that people don't think of is that during the holidays, a lot of places get donations for homeless or disenfranchised people and stuff. And then as soon as January hits, people quit giving because they think that their duty is done. Well, first of all, it's not a duty. But, you know, maybe your thing for January can be to finish going through the stuff that you were going to give away and you never got to. And donate it. Donate it to a secondhand place. Donate it to a cause. You know, they're always still looking for clothes and food. You know, so if you want to do these little acts of kindness, or like I said, go check on a neighbor. You know, double tip your barista. Double tip your waitress. You know, everybody's struggling these days. If you feel like you need to do something, then, you know, sometimes it's not all about you. Sometimes it's about you helping other people. I know it's a weird concept because usually I tell you it's about you. This time I'm telling it because this way it makes you feel better, which is the bonus on your end. It makes them feel better, which is the double bonus on their end. So there you go. That's a nice, kind little tweak that you can do at the beginning of the year. It's going to make you feel fabulous, you know? And make sure that no matter what, whether it's a big thing, whether it's a little thing, doesn't matter what it is, that you're checking on yourself first. Yes, I'm back to it's all about you. Because I want to make sure that either you're mentally or physically, that you're not feeling yourself starting to slide. Sometimes we feel ourselves starting to slide, and you don't want to do that. You know, with January also comes, we've got shorter days. I know we've made it through the solstice, so days will start getting longer again, but we still have dark days. The weather is absolutely unpredictable. And if you get stuck inside your house or stuck in weird weather, you know, it can make you start to kind of slide mentally or physically, because if you're used to getting out and you realize that you're not walking as much or doing as much, or you feel like you're stuck in this little hole and you can't move, gotta watch yourself. You gotta watch yourself. And if you feel like you're starting to slide, get some help. Check out different places. You know, we have, well, if you have a doctor, definitely check with your doctor. But if you don't, there are so many places online. Whether you're gay or straight, it doesn't really matter. There are places online, phone lines, text lines, everything else. Don't quit looking. There are people out there that would love to talk to you. I would love to talk to you. It's part of my business. It's part of who I am. Um, it's interesting because sometimes, you just talking with somebody else, or even just being a good listener. Sometimes people need to talk and you just need to listen. That is the gigantic rectum. Oh my God, I just totally messed that up. Random act of kindness. The nicest thing that you can do for somebody is listen. Not give them your opinion. Not yell over the top of you double hearing somebody's conversation. Just listen. If they want your opinion, they will ask for it. Sometimes you just need to get things out. And if you can be a great listener, that would be the most awesome New Year's resolution ever, is you're making it relevant. You're becoming a better human. You're becoming that person. We all know that person that we wish we would have had growing up. That person that we wish we could have talked to. That wish would have just listened when we had a problem. Become that person. That's the whole idea here on the show, is for you to become that person that you wish you would have had growing up. That you could be that for someone else. It's taking care of you, and while you're taking care of you, you're also taking care of someone else. But you're not doing it in a stressful, horrible, I have to. It's not an obligation. It's just a thing. And I put these things out for you so that, they can help make you mentally stronger and do things that you want to do. And I give you the breathing exercises and the wiggle your toes and your butt and the things like that. And I give these to you so that you can start focusing internally to take better care of yourself. And if you are starting to slide, it's caring enough about yourself to get help, to ask for help, that we never give up looking. If somebody says, if you ever need me, I'm there for you, take them up on it. You know by now the friends that you have, on whether they're good listeners or they're good talkers. Did you picture that person? Okay. So you know who they are. And if you need a good listener, go to the good listener, not to the good talker. If you need to talk something out, go to the good talker. But if you need just to have somebody listen to you, run an idea. Just run an idea past somebody. I mean, if you need to vent, that's a whole nother category. And sometimes we just need to vent to get it out. And then as soon as we get it out, we feel so much better. Sometimes you just need to work things out with another human being there. And they can be in the same room as you. They can be online. You could be texting back and forth. All of those things. All of those things are possible. I repost the show because in case I went off on a tangent somewhere and you need to re-listen to it, or you just need to be reminded of how important you are, of how special you are, of how incredible you being around and helping people are. Sometimes you need to hear that over and over again. And so I repost the show on YouTube and on Facebook and do little Twitch snippets and little TikToks and things like that, because I want you to know that you're never alone and that you're going to be just fine. Sometimes it may not feel that way, but I can guarantee you sometimes we just need to feel that way. And we need to take note of our mental state. And if you ever need to make an online appointment with me, then all you have to do is just text or call or go to whisperingzenhypnotherapy.com or whatever, you know, because I'm always there. I'm always here for you. Always, always. And whether you're dealing with something mentally, whether you're dealing with something physically, whether you're dealing with both, because some of, deal with both mental and physical issues, you're not alone, but if you feel like you're going over the edge, please get some help. That's the one thing that I can ask you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of my favorite non-stressing things to do when you're getting really stressed out. And I hope some of you use these over the holidays. Lord knows I did. Wow. But things that you can do to help you if you start getting and you feel the stress coming on and you feel the anxiety coming on. These are some things that you can do. And you can actually do these for the most part. Some of them you don't want to do in a car. Remember, anything that you have to close your eyes, we don't do that in a car or heavy machinery or when you're trying to talk to somebody. But my favorite thing that I've done in the car a million times and actually did earlier this week is called the 4-3-2-1. And what you do is you just stop what you're doing. And I mean, stop. I know if you're driving, pull over, but you know when you're about to hit that edge. You absolutely know it. So just stop what you're doing. Figure out where that negative voice came from. Tell it to go away. But the 4-3-2-1 is you immediately find around you, just in your general vision of where you're at, 4 things that you can see. Just look around, 4 things that you can see. 3 things that you can touch. So, water bottle, phone, pants, I don't care. Just 2 things that you can hear. What can you hear? Can you hear a bird? Can you hear people talking? Can you hear a radio? What can you hear around you? And then you have to tell yourself one thing that you absolutely know is truth. And my favorite was somebody that told me that the one thing that they absolutely knew was truth was that they were an incredible person. And I think that's the one thing that you should always tell yourself. If you get down to that one and there's one thing that you absolutely need to know, and it's wonderful that you can do that. My next favorite thing, I love doing the self-compassion pause, but I think for today, we need to do that 3-minute breathing space. 3 minutes. I tell you, you need 5 to 10 minutes. I'm telling you right now, you need at least 3. Okay? Minimum 3 minutes. So unlike doing a full meditation or a full body scan, which I highly recommend, it's easy to perform. You can do it anywhere. It's getting your mindfulness going where it needs to go. And if you have children, it works really well with kids too, because sometimes they get really and need to calm down a little bit too. So this is 3 minutes and you can do it. So for the first minute, I just want you to ask yourself, how am I doing right now? How am I doing right now? Focus on your feelings, your thoughts, any sensations that are going on. How am I doing right now? And try to give those words or phrases. How am I doing? How am I feeling? Just right now, you've stopped. Second minute, I want you to keep aware of your breathing. I know I harbor a lot on breathing, but once you can concentrate on your breathing and you can slow your breathing down, it's going to slow your heart rate down. It's going to slow your blood pressure down. Keep aware of your breathing. And for the last minute, I want you to expand all of your attention outward from your breath. How is that making you feel now? We know how you were feeling before, but how has that slowing down helped you out? How has your breathing slowing down? How has that helped you with the rest of your body? Have your shoulders come down? Most of us spend half a day like this with your shoulders up to your ears. No, bring them down. When we know how you were, then it's concentrate on that breathing for a minute. And then in their third minute, just expand your attention and notice how much your body has changed. And I know that keeping a quiet mind is challenging and thoughts pop up everywhere, but don't block them. Just let them come into your mind, go through, and right back out again. Almost did that the other way. Doesn't really matter as long as they just go right through. Try to observe them, understand them. The intent is not to repress your feelings. We never want to repress our feelings. Experience the feelings, but let them go, especially if they're bad feelings. It's like, okay, I'm not doing really well right now. I got to practice my breathing. Okay, once I practice my breathing, my heart rate is slowed down. Everything else is slowed down. I'm feeling better. And the thought is now gone. So, I put these things out for you, to keep through the day. We made it through an hour. If you can make it through an hour, you can make it through a day. We use these breathing exercises to focus internally and keep asking yourself, over and over again. If you need to do that 3-minute breathing several times a day, then do it. How am I doing right now? It's important for you to know that. I encourage you to go out and walk around and take breaks. And, who knows? Even if you're in snowy weather, there's usually a flower that is just decided. It's the willingness for it to go on, and you may see winter flowers, And if you're going out to take a walk, take the precautions that you need to take. All of that is personal and up to you, but just be safe out there. Know that if you need to rehear any of this in case you missed part of it, that it's always on Facebook and it's always on YouTube under Hypno Fairy Godmother Show, because I am your Hypno Fairy Godmother and I am always here for you. So I want to thank you for listening today. It has truly, truly been my pleasure to be even a small part of your journey. And I hope that it was a little calming, a little soothing, maybe a little funny. And mostly I hope that wherever you are, you're leaving a little bit closer to who you really want to be. If you don't know, I'm Shirley, a clinical hypnotherapist, activist, and mental health first responder here at Whispering Zen Hypnotherapy and Wellness. And I work with my clients, maybe you, who knows? And we work as a team to find out what works the best for you without you having to worry about it or fear or anything. And I work online, so wherever you are, I can be there because I'm wherever I am. And I know that hypnosis is kind of interesting for some people and it's not for everybody. So let's maybe work together, see if we can work together, and see if we can make life just a little bit easier and a little bit friendlier for all of us. So once again, I'm Shirley, your Hypno Fairy Godmother, clinical hypnotherapist. You can book a consultation anytime you want to on Hypno Fairy Godmother, on that one, it's actually whisperingzenhypnotherapy.com. Anywhere else you can find me, just under Hypno Fairy Godmother Show. And remember, we're going to take one more last deep breath from your abdomen. Hold it. Exhale with a smile, because we started the show with a smile. We're going to end the show with a smile. Thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends. And I promise, more than anything, I will see you next week. And have a wonderful, wonderful week.